Hello, everybody. Whoa. Doing this again?
Damn it, it's amazing. Everything's changing again. Everything.
Okay, sorry for clicking. I thought it was...
Everything is mutating, and I haven't even moved. I don't understand. I don't understand anything.
You certainly don't understand the definition of mutating. Alright. I mean, it's weird, but it's not mutated.
This individual seems a little unhinged. Nothing strange about that, considering what this place is like. And judging from his threats, I don't seem to have made a very good impression on him.
Let's make it worse.
The enormous trailer that serves as a home for Rod and his family. I find it hard to imagine this heavy old monstrosity ever traveled on the highway.
Alright.
Let's see. I could swear that the lid is just the right size for this drum.
Yeah, you mentioned it was a huge pot lid.
Perfect.
Damn it! What's going on? This damn shithole is going to be the end of us.
I'll have to do this quickly, before this man stops coughing. Let's see what we have here.
Is going to be the death of
Ugh.
us.
I don't see anything but rotten food, tattered clothes, and trash. Wait a minute. It seems like there's also a small billfold with a bunch of credit
This
cards.
filthy shithole is going to be
What the hell is this
death
guy
of
doing
us.
with so much plastic money?
He did say he was an executive.
Someone improvised a bonfire inside that drum. Now that I've covered the top, the smoke coming out of the bullet hole on the side is
What's
concentrated,
going on?
making it act like a chimney.
Alright.
No. With my foot in this condition, I wouldn't get very far. I think it would be better to go back inside the trailer and try to take care of this
Can't
wound.
even breathe in
It
this
doesn't look too
hellhole
good.
anymore.
Alright, good for you. We've established that you're having trouble breathing. Okay, that door's locked. This is locked too, but I have a credit
These
card.
are the charred and misshapen remains of a bank card. I doubt it can be used in this condition, assuming there's anyone capable of finding a cash machine working.
So just smash it. It says Visa on it.
Let's
Are
see
you
if
sure?
I can do this.
You sure you're not supposed to, come up with an XP name?
Good. The mechanism gave way on the first try,
And
but
there's
the
a-
card is trashed. For my sake, I hope that guy outside never finds out about this.
How would he? Wixie.
A clean iron pillowcase. Nothing like the grimy sheets on the bed I've been lying in all this time. Not just yet. I'm grateful to Rod for his hospitality, but these old shoes don't look very clean. It won't take more than a few hours for the wound on my foot to turn really ugly. And the last thing I need now is a serious infection.
Okay.
The pillowcase is quite large.
Can I use it
Putting
as...
this fabric near the oil lamp would only start a fire. It's no use. It won't open. I heard Rod bolt it from inside. What for? I'd only end up with an enormous pillowcase soaked in liquor. Okay, let's see how well this protruding bed spring can cut.
There we go. Makeshift bandages.
A high-proof whiskey, and by the looks of it, an expensive one. The bottle was hidden in Rod's closet. I suppose that despite his apparent strength, that man needs to escape his problems from time to time.
Who doesn't?
I'll use a little of what's in the bottle to soak the bandages. A handful of bandages soaked in scotch. I guess I just came up with a homemade antiseptic.
I can't use it on my feet.
Here goes. I'll use the bandages on my foot. I hope the alcohol is enough to keep it from getting infected.
It's gonna burn like a mother fluffer. Just so
Let's
you know.
pray this improvised remedy doesn't lead to a delightful case of gangrene.
What bastard put a lid on the drum? You're trying to suffocate me, you bunch of assholes!
I think that guy out there just discovered the reason for a sudden coughing fit.
Some coward in this shithole wanted to suffocate me. Me! Who was it? Who was it? Come back here so I can give you back your lid, you son of a bitch!
Did you hear that noise, Rod? What's going on out there?
I don't know. I'll go have a look. I think it's that poor drunk who's always hanging around the trailer. He's kicking up a fuss again. It's a good thing poor Colin can't hear his insults.
Don't ever say anything like that again, Rod.
I'm sorry, honey. I wasn't thinking.
Okay. Door open. I have shoes. Good for me.
What are you doing here? Get out of here! You've no business being in this room!
Rod, I'm sorry. But what's going on?
Get out of here, Michael! You didn't see anything, understood? Out! Out!
Jesus. Alright.
Excuse my outburst, Michael. I shouldn't
Damn right
I shouldn't
you
have behaved that way. It's not like me. But this new world brings out the worst in all of us. It's just that I can't stand to see Colin suffer this way. So for your own good, please, stay away from this room.
Away? Why?
It's no use trying to hide it. You're bound to find out sooner or later. Colin is very sick, and the authorities claim his illness is highly contagious.
Highly contagious? Is he one of the dissolved?
Michael! I won't let anyone use that word in my house! Yes, Colin caught that damn disease.
And what exactly does the disease consist of?
I don't know, Michael. No one really does.
Germs
the
or
only
viruses?
news is what the army brings us. They say the disease is highly contagious, and it's our duty to turn over all victims to the cleanup brigades. But no one has ever come back after being carried off in one of those ambulances. No one. So we can't let them take Colin, do you understand?
Yes, of course I understand.
Yeah.
They say that all the victims are condemned, that there's no salvation for anyone, that at the end of their suffering and their trances lies certain death. I think that even the army is afraid of the victims. Really strange things happen around them, Michael. Things you wouldn't believe.
Supernatural crap?
But how did Colin get infected?
We don't know. No one knows how the disease is spread. The only thing we know is that the disease appeared after the catastrophe, and that it's spreading like wildfire.
So the Great Wave brought the dissolved with it?
Yes, but don't use that word again. Not in this house, anyway. It's so cruel and disrespectful.
Then
In
what do I
effect,
call it?
that's the only thing we know for sure about all this insanity. The Great Wave took everything from us and left us with this epidemic.
What things happen around people infected with the disease?
Strange things with no possible explanation. In their trances, they go places, Michael. They bring back information. They know things. They talk to people who are no longer with us. And we've been living like this for weeks. The things that are happening around Colin are getting more and more confusing and hard to bear.
Talking to the dead? Jesus. This man's nerves are shot from the exhaustion and stress.
What's happening to Colin is terrible. If only there was something I could do.
Well, Michael, you can help us. I'm convinced that our finding you was no coincidence. You've got to help us.
But you said yourself that all the victims are condemned. What can I do?
No, all is not lost. In the camp, there are rumors of a cure.
Of course there
It
would be.
seems that in the city, on the other side of the fence, the victims have access to a drug. But we can't get it here. And my contacts out there, well, let's just say they can't do anything to help.
So there's a drug that can cure them.
Yes, but they say that producing it takes a long time and is very expensive. And so it's reserved for city dwellers who can afford to pay for it. Get us that drug, Michael. I beg of you, please. Colin's time is running out.
Getting involved looks dangerous. I saw that shooting out there. There's also the possibility of infection.
Infection? Are you afraid for your life, Michael? Without our help, you'd be dead right now. Dead. Don't forget that.
Oh, so I should throw it away,
What's
my life
more,
away? Just
I
'cause-
could help you in return. I could help you get back what you lost. Don't you see?
Give me back what I lost? But you hardly know me, Rod.
I know the essential part, Michael. I know that you're a blankhead.
Blankhead? What the devil does that mean?
A blankhead is a person with no memories, who can't remember anything. It seems that the Great Wave had an enormous neurological impact on certain people, Michael. You're not the only one, or even the worst case. There are people who even forgot how to talk and how to walk after the explosion. Some ended up dying of starvation. They forgot what food looked like, how to chew it, even that eating was a necessity. You can consider yourself lucky. You still remember how to keep yourself alive. And that's the important thing. The natural recovery process is slow. It can take months, if at all. Listen to me, Michael. A man without memories is just a shadow. Or even worse, he's nobody. I still have some contacts out there. I was an important man in the municipal government. I could trace your name, your data in public records, your fingerprints. I could restore your whole life in the blink of an eye. But please, help us.
I'm grateful for your help, Rod, and for everything you people have done for me. But
listen to me, Michael. We know that it's possible that our son is condemned to die. In fact, my wife and I have everything prepared for when he leaves us. Our child is the only thing that keeps us holding on in the new world. Nothing would have any meaning for us without him. So if there is even the slightest chance of saving him, we are prepared to do whatever it takes. Please, Michael, help us.
You bet your butt.
For God's sake, listen to him. He's just a child.
Rod, come in here, quickly!
Bring us that cure, and we'll help you get your life back. Colin is our only hope in this new world. Help us save our future, and I'll give you back your past. I promise you. Goodbye, Michael.
no, Rod, wait. Bring a drug? Is he out of his mind? That man wants me to put his son's life in my hands?
You're the
I can
only
barely
hope he
remember who I
has.
am. And I probably wouldn't last more than a few hours out there. But Rod was right. A man without a past is nothing more than his shadow. He offered to help me get my life back, my memories. So if I want answers, I have only one possible course of action: to get that drug.
Or take a nap. And since I can't click on the bed and actually do anything...
Wait a minute. Before leaving, I should write down everything important I find out in this notebook. It might come in handy if, as Rod says, I'm one of the blankheads the Great Wave left in its wake.
I think it's pretty undoubtable that you're one of the blankheads. You have no memories, dude. Alright. Ooh, choices. Oh, jeez.
Oh no! Here comes that sensation again. It's like floating in a dense liquid.
So the
while
static
everything
feels
around
like
me is transformed.
liquid
God,
static.
I think I'm starting to lose my mind.
Liquid static. Alright. Oh, there's stuff to look at. Okay.
It's the enormous fence around the perimeter of the camp, with surveillance from the towers and on the ground. This barbed wire fence intensifies the feeling of claustrophobia in here, making it even more suffocating.
Oh, dear.
Although it looks hastily and shoddily built, it's surprising to see a brick-and-mortar building amid all these shacks in the refugee camp. No doubt this must belong to someone important, or with very good contacts in here.
I've seen the fence. Seen the... Ooh.
In the distance you can see the skyline of the city. It doesn't seem that far away.
Farther
From
than
what
I want to
people
walk.
say, things work somewhat better there. Could that be true?
Why can't I look at the direction before I go it? Oh well. Hey, sad sack.
Another camp inhabitant. He seems quite elderly. What's he doing here all by himself?
Sitting.
Hello.
Hello, son. Would you like to get a little closer to the fire?
Thanks, mister.
Are you
This
hitting
is a
on me?
rather isolated part of the camp.
What are you doing here?
Well, I'm waiting. That's all. Just waiting.
Waiting to die.
You're waiting. And what is it you're waiting for exactly?
Nothing in particular. The usual. For the fire to go out. For sunrise. For it to get cold again.
You are
I'm
easily
waiting
amused.
for something to change. Or for everything to stay as it is. I'm just waiting. You're too young to understand.
It's starting to get cold. Where's your tent? Or your trailer?
Yes, I had a tent once. They issued me one when I decided to enter the refugee camp after the Great Wave. The trailer was out of the question. They went to the families with the best contacts. Ah, you know how it is. Even in purgatory, some people are more equal than others.
You say that you decided to enter the camp. Does that mean that people weren't forced to come here?
Excuse me.
No, of course not. Why would they have to force us? The catastrophe hit the city hard. Those of us who had lost our homes were invited to come here. In principle, it was temporary, just until the authorities got the situation under control and started rebuilding. We used to have food, water, and a place to sleep.
But now it's more like a prison camp than a refugee center. What happened?
I don't really know. I guess something went wrong. The new housing they promised us never got built. And in the end, the army seized control of the camp. The food ran out, and then the water supply. Nobody bothered to replace them. Seems like our lives didn't matter anymore.
I see.
In time, things in here started to get very ugly. There were riots, uprisings, and the army decided to close the gates of the camp without any notice. One day they decided that no one could enter or leave here.
Well, I'm leaving.
Well, actually, people still could. Enter, that is. Now, this is where anyone who gets in the way in the city ends up. Or anyone they don't know what to do with.
So, this has turned into something like a concentration camp.
That's right, son. That's exactly what it is. You know, it's funny. I remember when my father told us about the war in Europe. About all the persecution, deportations, those overcrowded cattle cars. That all sounded to us like an old movie. An old horror movie. And look at us now. I guess some things never change. They just stop being visible for long enough for us to forget about them.
And where's your tent now?
Somebody took it.
It was stolen from me a while back. They fetch a good price on the black market now.
Stolen? But how could anyone...
You seem to be new in the camp, am I right? These things happen nowadays. It's best to take things as they come. The reality of the new world is very simple, son. The soldiers and the moles do whatever they like on this side of the fence. And the hunter and his men run the black market and all the dirty rackets. I suggest you memorize all this.
The hunter? I've exchanged a few words with him, but I hardly know him.
Yes. The man who protected me during all the shooting. He seems like someone with good connections and some answers. Could he know anything about the drug for treating the dissolved?
Do you know where I can find him?
You can find him in those barracks at the back. That's his... well, let's say it's his logistics office. Now, the hunter is very dangerous. Watch your step around him and his men. I happened to meet his father when he was young. He was a violent, degenerate son of a bitch. A real asshole.
You'll say
And
son
I'm
of a...
afraid his son
but you
has
won't
followed
say-
in his
Never mind.
footsteps.
Alright. Let's talk about other things.
Let's talk about something else.
Kittens.
So tell me, is there any way to get out of the camp?
I'm sorry, son. The only way to get out of this camp is to know someone important who can pull strings for you. Or to become a camp mole. Those traitorous scumbags have gate passes.
I see.
I'm not surprised you want to get out of this shithole. You've no doubt got something to do or someone to find out there. Well, they say things are better in the city, that there's order and that things are starting to function again. But who knows? Well, at least they have Reverend Blake and the consolation of Suicide Park.
Who names the parks around here?
Suicide Park? What's that?
Going down Suicide, gonna
just
have
a
myself
song
a
that
time.
drifts into the refugee camp from the other side of the fence now and then. And the first dark stars come out to hang from the sky. We could sit and count them together, you and I.
You are hitting on me.
When the sun departs from Suicide Park. I'm sure you still have some hopes, some dreams. I'm afraid you're just too young to understand it.
You're pretty ageist, buddy.
And what was the extent of the Great Wave's impact? How are things beyond the city?
Truth is, I couldn't tell you. In the first days, the chaos was so overwhelming that no one worried about anything beyond their own backyard. We victims were disoriented, cut off from the world. Then I came into the camp, and news from far-off places doesn't reach this prison. I'm afraid you'd have to leave here to get the answer to that question.
Who's Reverend Blake?
He's a preacher who sometimes comes from the city to bring us a little comfort. Now, some people make jokes about him, but many of us believe that he's a prophet. You should hear him speak sometime. His words etch themselves deeply into your soul. That's why he has so many followers inside and outside the camp.
If he's a unitologist, no thank you.
I should be going on my way. Have a pleasant wait, mister. Dented, dirty, and in pretty bad shape. In this corner of the camp, there are drums stored everywhere you look. Someone placed a bunch of those rusty drums up against the wall. Ugh. They smell like liquor and industrial oil. Oh, Jesus. The cocktail of odors is nauseating.
Okay, I can interact with them?
Okay, here goes. It's impossible to budge these drums at all. I don't know what they contain, but whatever it is, it weighs a ton.
Bree weighs a ton? Nobody's getting that one.
This bright light leaves no doubt about where the entrance to the building is. There are some insects fluttering around it that end up getting scorched by the heat and dropping dead.
Fried bug.
Another brick-and-mortar building. That's the second one I've seen inside the camp. These structures stand out like mansions in the misery that dominates this place. Its owner must be someone important.
Still more drums. Ooh.
It's a thick cable that runs along that building's roof, but I can't see it very well from here. It's too high.
Alright. Double click lets me fast travel, although I found that out earlier at the trailer.
It's a bunch of open beer cans, dented and empty. I'm not sure why, but I find the smell of stale alcohol they give off distasteful, like all the other odors in this place.
Free beer cans. Bar.
Stain from spilled drinks, rings from glasses and rust. The bartender looks out from the other side, seemingly bored and apathetic.
Okay, are you describing things or a narrator?
Most of these bottles have been opened, and they look like they've been reused hundreds of times. They're filled with a grayish liquid with a rather unappetizing appearance.
Yeah, a lot of alcohol doesn't look good.
That's the background music for the establishment. The speaker is cranking out a dreary, droning country song, and it's getting on my nerves.
Alright. I think that's enough for now. Thank you for watching. We'll pick up more soon. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, or subscribe. Or not. I am not the boss of you. I don't tell you what to do.